Tiny Tower is a mobile game that takes the dream of becoming a boss of a number of businesses in a tower. Tiny Towers gives the power and responsibility of managing many businesses and people, but without the financial risk of going bankrupt. Bitizens are the characters that live and work in the tower. The best part of this game is that it's free to play on the App Store and Google Play Store. Tiny Towers was one of my favorite games to play on the iPod Touch 4, so today I'm going over the history of Tiny Towers and all the other expansions that came after this game. So Nimblebit made this game with a unique art style that not many mobile games had at the time. They had a bit design, hence the name Nimblebit. Tiny Towers was released both on the App Store and Google Play Store on June 23, 2011. Nimblebit is a developer of this game, and it's safe to say that this is one of their most successful games they have made. To state how successful Tiny Towers was, in the same year it won the iPhone Game of the Year award. They had a nice YouTube video celebrating the achievement. The gameplay of this game is straightforward. You build apartments for Bitizens to move in. Each apartment can hold up to 5 residents. Then you build some businesses to employ them to the job and restock when needed, and that's pretty much it, just rinse and repeat. The goal is to build more floors and make the tower taller. The one problem is that it can get boring after a while, like this video. And there are little things in the game that keep the player on, like improving their tower, and how each Bitizen has their dream job, and getting them to work at their dream job gives them a green smiley face on their profile, and helps the floor have more stock of a product. The elevator can be upgraded to move faster. The lobby and the roof can be upgraded to have different looks, so if you're looking for a certain type of look, this game might just have it. The costumes for the Bitizens is a nice touch and it adds some character to them. But the best thing about this app is the BitBook. It's pretty much the game's version of Facebook before it was meta. On this, Bitizens talk about many things and it gives the game more life. It's like these Bitizens have a real life within this game. They have floors that are similar to stores in real life, like Maple Store, which looks like an old Apple store back in the days. The coffee shop looks very similar to like a Starbucks. But overall, this game is still fun compared to many other mobile games nowadays. But that's not saying much because the bar for mobile games is set very low. Following the success of Tiny Tower, Nimblebit knew that they had something. From the art style and the format of a business simulated mobile game, they quickly developed a plethora of games to expand their reach. A year later, on June 14, 2012, Nimblebit put out Pocket Planes. And as you can see, this game had the same art style, which is a good thing because it makes it easier for players that associate this game to the same creator and not just a ripoff. But also, they can accept the same quality of game. Which it did because Pocket Planes is another business simulated game, but instead of a tower, you have a fleet of planes. Along the way, you can collect flying cash or coins, which adds a little incentive for the players to stay on the game. The goal is to make enough money to buy new airports and to receive more passengers and cargo, and build a larger fleet of planes. This game was a new take on the business simulated game genre, which is completely new from what I remembered back during the iPod era. As you progress throughout the game, your choice of buying or even building planes becomes more interesting, like there's a blimp, a hot air balloon, even a starship that looks like an X-Wing starfighter from Star Wars. The thing that made Pocket Planes more immersive was the weather events. For example, there was a thunderstorm that could hit an airport, and seeing the rain and lightning was a nice touch. The performance of this game was nowhere near the success of Tiny Tower. Looking at the downloads from the Google Play Store, Pocket Planes got over 100,000 downloads, and Tiny Towers got over 1 million. And it's not to say that this was a bad game, it was unique, but not the success that Nimblebit was expecting. So then they had the next installment. The developers at Nimblebit were hard at work in making the next game. September 15th, 2013, Pocket Trains was showcased nicely. This game had the same art style as the last two games. Pocket Trains worked the same way that Pocket Planes did, but except sending people and cargo by plane, you would send them by a network of train tracks. I don't have any strong opinions about this game, I've only played it for a short amount of time before I got bored of it. But looking at the Google Play Store, we can see it got over 1 million downloads just like Tiny Towers. So players were excited about Nimblebit's newest installment of a business simulated game. The thing I noticed about this game is that the cars in Pocket Trains are very similar to the floors in Tiny Tower. To further illustrate this point, look at the sandwich shop, casino, and ice cream shop. As you can see, they look very familiar, which is not a negative impact on the game, but something I noticed while playing these games. Like if they all take place in the same world. As you progress throughout the game, the more options you get to buy different trains, like there are bullet trains, dragon trains, and more. With the massive impact these three games had, Nimblebit saw an opportunity to capitalize on the massive success with the big characters in their games. And Nimblebit started a short series. These are fun animations of the game. I'm assuming the budget ran out because after Pocket Planes there were no more short series of Pocket Trains or anything else. This is a fun way of engaging with fans outside of the game and also potentially bringing new players from YouTube. I wish they would have continued this series, but oh well. Nimblebit knew the format of Tiny Tower was their big break. It was their bread and butter. So they wanted to have another tower business simulator game, but also have it different from the original. So they bought the licensing rights for Star Wars, and on October 11th, 2023, they introduced Star Wars Tiny Death Star. I'm not making this up. It had like the structure of Tiny Towers, but reskinned with Star Wars characters. This game had the same key features as Tiny Towers, like stocking up businesses, buying new floors, and upgrading the elevator, but this also added some more features that made it different from the original. Like some floors have moving parts and animation, but instead of building a tower, you were building the Death Star. Since this game had the Star Wars name on it, it also had the iconic characters, like Darth Vader, Boba Fett, and more. I remember my cousin introducing me to this game, but I never played it, and looking at the gameplay, it looks like a fun game to play. But for a mobile game developer, the funds are quite limited, and the rights for Star Wars had to be pretty expensive. Then the game was removed from the App Store and Google Play Store. But Nimblebit wasn't done with the whole tower-themed game yet. Yeah, Nimblebit got a little wild and took it to Vegas, because on August 28th, 2014, this third installment of a tower game had the same core as Tiny Tower, but it had a little spin. Vegas is known for the fun and gambling, and this game has both. Each floor has something to gamble, like poker, slot machines, and more. This game also had animations in the background like Tiny Death Star, which makes the game feel more alive. Sometimes the casinos would give me a free spin or play, which is a sneaky way to lure me into gambling and waste my hard-earned chips in this game. This game is fun to play and gamble because there are no real stakes on the line. Streamers that make a living off of gambling should play this game, so there's no real money on the line. I don't know very much about card games, and this game has like things like poker, blackjack, and on those games I just press random cards and hope I win, which works sometimes. This game had another 1 million plus downloads on the Google Play Store, and with all the money Nimblebit made from gambling from this game, they invested their earnings into another licensed mobile game. On July 1st, 2019, LEGO Tower made its appearance to the world. Nimblebit made the 2D Tiny Tower formula and turned it 3D, but with LEGO, the most iconic toy of all time. This game got the biggest number of downloads. It got over 10 million. That's more than all the games previously mentioned in this video. Having the name LEGO definitely played a role in appealing to the younger audience. And this was a very smart move by Nimblebit. The amount of detail on this game is really incredible. Like all the currency is in LEGO, like pretty much all other LEGO games. It's all that makes Tiny Towers fun, but with LEGOs. The building the roof can be changed to different themes like a dinosaur or a Ninjago temple thing. The main selling point for this game is that it has LEGOs, which is not a bad thing and it's shown to work very well. But for me in my 20s, I'm not the right player for this game. So with the most recent installment of the game that was released last year in 2023, it's now trucks. It's very similar to Pocket Trains in that you transport cargo, but now with American trucks. The same bit style made a comeback. There's not much more to say. It has very nice semi-trucks you can unlock when you reach the higher levels of the game. A nice addition to this game is the waiting hub. There's more detail in the background, like the city and the American flag billboard. And it's a bit odd that they're sticking their heads out while driving the truck, as if it gives them a better view, like you're the only one driving on the road. And that's pretty much all I have for this game. Nimblebit has conquered land twice and air, and all that's left is the seas.